This woman here, Daphne Joy, it's rumored, you know, after having a baby with 50 Cent and clearly being loved up with him once upon a time, later went with 50's arch nemesis Diddy and became a freak-off girl. That is so dark, man. She knows fine well she has a baby with a man who hates Diddy. I think there was a falling out between her and 50. She's getting revenge. Diddy's getting revenge on 50. But you know who's laughing now, don't you? As usual, the man who always seems to have the last laugh, 50 Cent. You see, 50 posted a picture of Jane Doe where the face is rubbed out because they're not allowed to say who it really is on his Instagram, and then on the next slide said, I wonder who it could be, and posted a picture of his baby mama, Daphne Joy. Now, we don't know for sure if it's Daphne Joy, but I think 50's a pretty reliable source on this, considering. Oh, and they're now like posting pictures of 50 taking photographs of her, and it makes him look like he was like proper loved up with her. That's awkward. Apparently Jason Derulo was once with her as well. Jason Derulo! This girl has been around. And since I last did a video on this, yeah, a few things have happened. You know, the security guards who worked at the hotel where the CCTV footage showed Diddy beating up Cassie said, we were bribed. Yeah. No shit, of course they were. We already knew that. We had this lovely little lady here, Brianna Bongolan, testify against Diddy recently, and she said that I was hung over a balcony by Diddy, fearing for my life. She basically admitted she had a friendship with Cassie, whereby Cassie would use Diddy's money and give it to her, she'd go and get them drugs, and that Cassie was a drug addict and she was a drug addict as well. Lovely friendship. Now, the problem with the balcony incident is that her and Cassie's accounts of what happened that day did not match up. Brianna's allegation was that Diddy stormed into the 17th floor apartment, grabbed a hold of her, and held her over the 17th floor railing. She said that Cassie was asleep in the apartment during the incident and only emerged after the event had happened. Bearing in mind, these girls are friends. Cassie, on the other hand, said that she actually woke up during the incident and witnessed Diddy holding her over the balcony and pulling her back over the railing. She didn't mention being asleep or initially hearing Diddy enter the building, which is problematic, right? Because these girls were friends and their stories just don't add up. Brianna also came up with a story about how Cassie had a knife thrown at her by Diddy and that Cassie threw it back at Diddy. This was something that Cassie never ever even mentioned. Under cross-examination, Brianna couldn't recall any of the specifics, the location, etc., all the important details, and it just come across like she made it up. And obviously, if you're making something up, calls into question your entire story, especially when your mate is given a different account of it, whereby maybe you've come up with a story together and you just haven't got it straight, and then later, it just isn't holding up in court. And the main issue with the balcony incident is that it happened, allegedly, in LA. The problem is the defense lawyers of Diddy come up with the receipts literally to show that he was buying room service in New York at the time. Now, people have said maybe he could have got a private jet there and all of that, but again, his bank statements say he was somewhere else. And when the Diddy lawyer put it on her and went, you lied, didn't you? You lied. And she was like, I can't agree with you. And even just hearing that, you're like, I can't agree with you. Like, if someone's calling you a liar, you don't go, I can't agree with you. That sounds like, you're right, but I can't agree right now because I'm on the fucking stand here and I don't want to be called out for lying under oath. And the reality is there's a lot of just witnesses who've showed up and just been shit. For me, as much as, you know, what they're accusing them of is bad, their overall picture has a lot of holes in a lot of the time. Now, back to 50 Cent's baby mama, who took the stand for the last few days, and it went deep. Here she is here, looking good. I can't lie, she's a fucking... I mean, Diddy's got a type, hasn't he? Like, without a doubt. She looks a lot like Cassie. Bit thicker, which I'm not mad at, I'll be honest with you. So a lot of this popped off when Lil Rod, the producer, filed a lawsuit against Diddy in February for making unwanted sexual contact with him and forcing him to hire prostitutes. He named Daphne Joy in the suit as one of several women who accepted a monthly amount of money to work as a sex worker for Diddy. Now, she came out and said the allegations were completely false and a character assassination. Now, the issue is there's pictures of her and Diddy together, and 50, he has a tweet from him, I think. You moved a mile away in hopes of having another baby with me, but I was busy, so you moved back, and then you started receiving money from Brother Love. Now here we are, little sex worker. The guy, oh God, 50 kills me, man. And then obviously he's posting more stuff, like a picture of him and his son together, which his son's a cute boy, bless him. And God, it does feel fucked up that the kid's involved in this whole weird ass situation. But obviously as this is going on, he's just tweeting pictures out of him and the son looking with the caption, what the fuck? And then 50 Cent took further shots at his ex-girlfriend, tweeting, I didn't know you was a sex worker. you little sex worker. Lol. Fucking hell. Now, surprisingly, she didn't take it so well, and she responded by saying that he'd only seen their son 10 times over the last 2 years, which, if true, is shocking. I hope that's not true. And then it got really bad, because then she said, and you've also physically abused me and sexually attacked her, without using the R word, because YouTube's fucking mental. Now, 50 responded by saying that the allegations are false and baseless, and claimed that Joy made them allegations because 50 is fighting for full custody of their son, who was 11 years old. 50 made further comments at a show. Apparently, he said something like, she said, I love you. I said, I love you back, even if you are a little sex worker. He really knows the right thing to say to piss people off, doesn't he? And look, apparently he went after her legally on those allegations, and she deleted the post at a later date. The little sex worker. No, I'm joking. So let's get on to what Jane Doe, as she's being known as in court, said when she took the stand. Now, Jane started off by saying that she fell head over heels in love for Diddy. Now, a lot of you lot might be skeptical of that, but for me, I'm inclined to believe her, because she then said, and that is why we set up 10 grand a month to go into my bank from Diddy's bank, where I'm at his beck and call to shag him whenever he wants. That's what love is to me. I give you money, you give me sex. That's love. To be fair, a lot of relationships aren't a million miles from that, but it was just so not love to me. How much did he wire you? 10 grand. We started using the L word. He told me he was seeing multiple women. I was okay with it. Why? I liked him. Did you have the sense that you had the option of a monogamous relationship? No. So she knew he's going to fuck other women, and you have to be there for him. And you're getting paid for that in 10 grand a month for the rent. And he'd also give her more money, by the way, on top of that. I think in total, on top of that, he paid her like 150 grand over the course of a couple of years, as well as the rent. She talks about the first freak off that ever happened between them. Apparently they were on drugs, they were watching some dirty movies, and, he was on about the fantasy of, her doing stuff. And she was like, yeah, I'd be into it. And he said, it can happen tonight. How did you react? I was like, tonight? Okay. And from there to the usual stuff. Diddy's jerking off in the corner. She's getting it on with some entertainer, as they're calling them here. They ask her, how did it feel? She said, I felt exhilarated. It was taboo. I had a good time with my partner. So she admits she had a good time. They ask for an example of how much money she would get from Diddy in one go. She said $20,000. Just like the rest of them. More motivation to keep doing stuff to please him. She's getting money, he's getting sex. And they even wrote up a contract called a love contract, which I think is the nicest way to put what we're doing here. Diddy is an expert salesman, by the way. Like, the framing of that is unreal. Because what you're doing is you're getting a full-time hooker. Let's be real here. And that's the ironic thing is 50 is bang on when he calls her a sex worker. And look, as much as a lot of people feel sorry for these women who were caught up with Diddy in getting paid to do these acts, that ordinary women who read this think, I would never want to do that, therefore she's a victim. But that's not the way to look at this. You have to look at it through their actions, not what you'd want to do. They're signing up to it, literally, in a love contract. And as much as ordinary women wouldn't want to do that shit, why do you think there's so many Instagram baddies who are always on holiday yet have no fucking job to speak of? How do you think that's happening? You notice there's no men in the photographs. Exactly. They're the guys behind the camera. They're always in fucking Dubai and places like that. This is far more normal at the elite level than what any of us would ever imagine. Because these men can't be fucking asked to do the romance thing. They want what they want. They want to pay for it and know that it's going to be there and that they don't have to fucking try, basically. Because they ain't got time for love. They're fucking businessmen, these guys. And they're also sexually deviant. And a lot of these women who maybe have got self-respect wouldn't want to do this sort of shit. And I think one of the main mistakes people are making when they're looking at this case is judging what they would want to do and not just looking at the actions and the words of these women agreeing to this stuff. And not over a course of a month or a couple of months, but years. And that is also why they would tolerate him being physical with them. Because the alternative is, who the fuck pays my rent? And yet people could say that's coercion, that's coercive control. They keep going back to him. And this Jane, as we're calling her, details how the intercourse would go with the entertainer. So basically, the lawyer asks, how would it end? She said, he'd finish on me, and then I'd go and have sex with Sean. She asked, would you clean up the ejaculate? Fucking hell, what a word. She said no. Diddy would like to play around with it. Then what? I would take a shower and get ready for the next one. And often, throughout this testimony, she would do 3 of them in one night, not including Diddy. And she would just shower in between, get ready for the next one. Imagine if they say his 50s baby mama, right? And he's reading this and he's thinking, God, I had a kid with her. It's not what you want, is it? It's a boy that they share together. And it's like, it's one thing if you're a daughter and you're your mum's a slut, right? But if you're a son, it's another thing entirely. Like, he is going to be annihilated in high school. They asked her, like, what would you do if you wanted to finish or stop? She'd say, I'd send him subtle cues, Diddy, meaning. What would they say? He'd say, you're not getting tired on me, are you? Let's go out on a high note. Let's finish strong. Diddy was a horrible bastard. Like, it's so fucking weird because she's signing up for this as well. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bunch of fucking degenerates, isn't it? And they bring up some of her text messages to Diddy of her saying that she's horny for him and that she wanted to suck one of the entertainers off specifically. And they asked her, why did you do that? And she said, I knew it would turn him on. Now, remember, the idea of this all is that Diddy is controlling her. But in that moment, she's controlling him. She is the one turning him on and playing around with him. And I just want to point that out because this whole note of coercion, that's not how it's supposed to work. And she said, like, I said to the entertainers that they couldn't take drugs because I didn't want them to be out of control when they were with me. So she did have a level of control over these arrangements. She even reached out to them sometimes. So, like, originally, I think Diddy was reaching out to them. And then she says she was. Basically, they'd be watching a dirty movie and she'd literally look up the guys in the movies, DM them and get them to come over. So she messaged one dude called Sly and she said, I told him I was a fan of his work. Maybe we should meet up. We did a FaceTime. Sean was there. What happened? It got hot and steamy. I asked him to show me himself. Such a victim. It's just ludicrous, isn't it? Like, they're just after a fucking payout, some of these girls. I'm sorry, like. Cassie, victim of domestic violence, there's no doubt in my mind about that. But in all of this sexual shit, there's so much evidence to say that they were all game for it, and especially game to take the money in return for it. It's an absolute laughing stock. He showed me his genitals, and I told Diddy I would arrange his flight. I booked it online, and Diddy paid me back. So she's even booking the fucking flights. You're contacting these adult stars and flying them over. She's paying for it. Who's the sex trafficker here? Is it her? Did Anton, who's another one of them, or Sly, ever send you photos of their genitals when you were not with Diddy? Yes, I was polite and flirtatious, but not as flirtatious as I was when I was with Diddy. So she was literally getting dick pics off of them when she was on her own. But she only did it for Diddy. Just to remember, she only did it for Diddy. And now, a word from our sponsors. Let's be honest, lads. A lot of what's in your wardrobe right now probably doesn't fit right. It's not that comfortable, and you need to do something about it. And that is where today's sponsor, True Classic, will save the day. You see, their mission is to make sure that lads like me and you can feel good, look good, without having to break the bank. And they've nailed it. The fit, the feel, the price across your entire wardrobe, and not just tees, but hoodies, jeans, activewear, everything you need to level up your everyday style. And with 4 million happy customers and 200,000 positive reviews, you know they're going to take good care of you. I've been wearing True Classic for a while now, and you can feel the difference, right? The quality of the material on the skin feels great, and also the fit for me is perfect. It's a bit tighter on up top, a little bit looser as it goes down. Perfect for most lads out there. And all of True Classic's ultra comfortable, perfect fitting essentials come with 100% perfect fit guarantee and super easy returns. So if you want to upgrade your wardrobe, you know what to do. Hit the link in the description below. Go to trueclassic.com/true and level up your wardrobe today. Big thanks to them for sorting out our wardrobes, but for now, enjoy the video. So much like Cassie, she carried on shagging all these geezers, multiple men a night, and now later on has decided I didn't want to do it, despite at the time saying how much she did want to do it. And like, there's examples of where like she didn't really feel it with one performer, so she called another performer and they asked her why, and she went, that's a hard question. At that point in the relationship, I knew that's what Diddy would want. I get that that could be partly true, but equally, you're the one doing it. You're the one saying, actually, I want this guy instead of this guy. I called Sly. He was excited. He flew to New York that night from Atlanta. What happened? It was nice. We had sex in front of Diddy at the Trump Hotel. She said it was nice. And now she's suing him for millions. It's just not enough for me to be like, yeah, absolutely, you're a total victim here. You deserve all the money. I'm not hearing enough from that. They ask her, did you act like you enjoyed it? Yes. Why? I wanted to put on a good show. And I get part of that might be true, but equally, I would love for them to show these fucking tapes in court. Because I tell you now, these women are just doing so much of this to be believable that they hated every minute of it, in my opinion. Given the level of choice that they had, Cassie walked out of the relationship whenever she felt like it. She cheated on him when she felt like it. And obviously, this girl, 35-year-old grown-ass woman, had every choice in the matter of what she was doing. I bet you, if we see them getting dick down on tape and moaning like they're fucking loving it, a lot of people would have a hard time believing that they were completely against this and it was all fake. And that may be why they're stopping than from showing these tapes in court, in my opinion. And I can't believe I'm saying this, because I feel like Diddy is a piece of shit, but he's a grown man and he's paying for it and they're game for it. What business is it of ours? Yeah. If those tapes made it look like they really didn't like it and it was all Diddy forcing them into it, they'd have been played in court on day one practically. That's why they're not getting shown. She goes on to say that she had sex on her birthday with multiple men in the hotel room, and then after that, Diddy went on holiday with another woman he was dating. Again, he is showing her no respect at all. He is not acting like we're doing up a real relationship here. I'm saying other women, you've agreed to that. Even on your fucking birthday, I'm going to say other women. Or after that, rather. And it sounds like she kicked off with him for this holiday that he had with the other girl. And he just said, I'm tired of you throwing sex in my face. Let's just be friends. So he's ready to break it up. If you're not down for this, if you're not going to give me an easy time, just fuck off then. She then replies, are you really breaking up with me? You're the only man in my life. You took someone else to the place I have dreamed of. It doesn't even sound like she's that arse that he's with another woman. It's the money. It's the fact that he's spending money on another woman and taking her to a lovely place where he keeps her behind closed doors in hotel rooms just doing dirty shit for him. He's not taking her to that kind of situation. And that's the real thing that is bothering her here. And that kind of proves what the relationship really was. Completely and utterly transactional and completely consensual. I'll be a dirty little slut. Just make sure you're spending that money on me. And if you're not, that's when we're going to have a problem. I don't even care if you fuck other women. She just wants to go on holiday. So they took a break from each other and then they started texting again. And she says it made her feel like he cared. But I knew I had to stay strong. I went away for a few days. He was adamant that we should see each other. I missed him too. They ask her why. Because I love him. And we were planning to go on holiday. Oh, God. I mean, it's just so blatant and clear as day what her motivations are. And it's exactly like I said in the Cassie videos. Would women stick around for all this nonsense if he wasn't a billionaire spending all this money on them? Absolutely not. And that is why they consent to this ridiculous lifestyle. Because it's what they're getting out of it. And you can't take away consent later because you didn't get everything you thought you were going to get out of it. Which is what this is. So after they got back together, Diddy took a pill and they went to a hotel, as you do. Apparently they were watching dirty movies in the hotel room and Diddy said, do you want Don, which is one of these entertainers that they'd had visit them? She replied, yes. So she's saying she does want it. Obviously her lawyer is trying to get her out of this and make it look a bit better. They ask why? She says, because I was used to it. And then we went to Turks, which is on holiday. Because she knew what she was going to get out of it. I'll do the freak off, and then we're going to go on fucking holiday. Brilliant. Win-win. You get what you want, I get what I want. That's exactly what she's thinking. By the way, where it says Turks here, that's a Caribbean island that they used to go to quite regularly. It's near the Bahamas. I hear it's lovely this time of year, which is exactly why she was desperate to keep going back. And another thing that came out about this girl is they're asking her, like, who is currently paying your rent, by the way? It's Diddy. Even now, as she's basically sending him to fucking jail, he's the one paying her rent right now. Fuck me, man. She's got a fucking cheek, like, honestly. What else did Diddy pay for? My teeth. So she got her teeth done on him. He also paid to furnish her entire house. And bearing in mind, this is a woman who's also getting child support from a man that we know to be in the club very regularly. Now, they played an audio note from Diddy in court, which came as a result of her kind of fucking him off a bit and ignoring him.
I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah. You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence.
He's threatening her with silence. He's not threatening her with anything else, which I personally don't have a problem with so far.
You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence. And ain't nobody threatening you, and I ain't trying to go back and forth with no woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I ain't got no time for no motherfucking games. Where my life is at right now, I don't have no time for no games, baby girl. Me and you could be mad, I could have a spat, we could have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. That's really, that's all it is. Cause you got me on my job. Nah, it ain't never gonna work like that over here.
And a lot was made of the fact that he used the phrase "on your job" as if that proves anything in court. I mean, "on your job" is like a slang term of like you better be on it, on your game. And he says, "I'm on my job," meaning I'm taking care of my part of this agreement. You need to take care of yours. I don't know if that affects anything in court, but personally, I think it is quite clear what he's saying. I'm paying you, and you're not fucking responding here. And this is an agreement that we had in place where we would connect connect regularly and do this shit, and you're not willing to do it. And if you don't do it, I'm just going to fucking disappear. He's not saying I'm going to beat you up, or, you know what I mean? Like, if this is a relationship, which I don't think it is, I think it's just a sexual agreement, him saying I'm going to end it and walk away actually kind of favors Diddy's case, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm certainly not a lawyer. And I suppose you can twist anything to make it mean what the fuck you want to make it mean in court at this point. Like, Diddy's always going to come off worse because of the things we've seen him do to women physically on CCTV. You're always going to lean against him no matter what. But I didn't see anything that bad in that little audio note. There was a bit more complaining from her than what we've seen from Cassie. She apparently sent him a message saying, it's been 3 years of me having to fuck strangers. He asked, are we breaking up? And they said, is that what you were proposing? And she said, no, I just needed a break. What did you write next? I wrote, sex is sacred to me, which I find laughable. Like, obviously, it's a nice thing to say and it sounds nice, but the reality is you were literally having sex for money. There ain't nothing sacred about sex to you, pet. There's a reason why, if this is Daphne Joy, you fuck Jason Derulo, 50 Cent, and P. Diddy. You're making your way through Hollywood, for fuck's sake. Ain't nothing sacred about that, so shut up. During some of these disagreements, Diddy said, look, it's a free country. I'm an adult. You're an adult. You're writing a whole book about what you hate about me. We both made promises we didn't keep. If you don't want to talk to me, there's nothing I can do. Which weirdly sounds fairly mature from Diddy, which I wasn't expecting. And in her reply, she says, I know I was consenting. Like you said, you didn't know I didn't want it. This is my truth. I love you very much. I need to take a pause. And the key there is, I know I was consenting. She says it in black and white specifically that she was consenting to this situation. I mean, no further questions, Your Honor. That is it. Done. Finished. And her lawyers even say, why were you saying that you were consenting? I picked that word up from him. God almighty. Any fucking responsibility for anything that comes out of her mouth. He said, if anyone saw these videos, they'd say you wanted it. Was that true, Jane? I'm still trying to figure that out. I mean, I said it earlier in the video. I bet if they'd seen the videos, we would absolutely say that this was consensual. And she can't even say it's not true. I'm still trying to figure that out. What the fuck does that even mean, man? At this point, you're in court telling everyone you're suing this guy for millions. What the fuck are you talking about here? And by the way, she was still doing these last year, like 2024. This ain't a 2-minute thing that just lasted a few months. She's been doing this. And the mad thing is, as she testifies against him right now, he is still paying for her lawyer right fucking now. One thing that did come up in her testimony was domestic violence, but it was a bit different to the ones with Cassie, where Diddy just seemed to beat up Cassie whenever the fuck he felt like it, bless her. This one was caused by, I think she's seen photographs of him with a woman who was 25 years younger than him, which obviously triggered her because she is a lot closer to him in age than that girl in question was. She called him a predator and she slammed his head into a marble kitchen counter. Probably not the best way to start a fucking discussion. Long story short, Diddy beat the shit out of her. It is a bit different to the Cassie ones, but it is also just another case of Diddy having no problem in laying his hands on a woman, which I've said from the start is what he should be in jail for, actually. The issue is if the government jailed him for that, they wouldn't get to take all of his money in a RICO case, and he wouldn't be doing 25 to life, right? It would be a lot shorter and a lot less of a sentence. And they ask her, when did you see Diddy next? A few days later. Why? I missed him. That's the point where you get out, though, isn't it? And she's saying she missed him. And I get that there's toxic relationships out there, but it comes back to money for me. Did you miss getting your fucking rent paid because you thought, well, if that's it, I'm fucked now? Because who the fuck's going to pay the 10 grand a month on rent? And some people will try and make it out like, well, this proves, she was under his control even after he did that. She kept going back. And for me, it's like she was motivated by money. The whole time she's admittedly consented to this. And she actually struck him first, apparently, in that scenario. And as much as it still doesn't excuse anything, in my opinion, it certainly weakens her case that this is more examples of his control. And from this point, the defense cross-examine her and they really go in on all of the money he spent on her. They asked her in the time that she spent with him, like, how much money would he have given her in gifts on top of the rent? They say, does 150 grand sound about right? She said, I would assume. In some of the later messages, you brought up the idea of attending sex parties, correct? Yes. So again, it ain't all him. Yes, he probably mentioned the sex parties first, but she's bringing it up as well. Another massive dint in this whole coercion theory. And she actually got a bit prickly about the money being spent on her. They ask her, you were gifted a Van Cleef necklace and a Bottega Veneta bag, didn't he? Yes, he did. How much do those bags cost? She replies sharply, how much does my body cost? Well, actually, 10 grand a month if we're counting. Literally, like, you were a hooker. And as funny as it is, the whole jokes that 50 Cent was making, if this is Daphne Joy, she absolutely is a little sex worker. He's nailed it. And she has proven she is absolutely available for the highest bidder. She even used 20 grand that Diddy gave her to start a business, so he was helping her grow her own incomes as well. And it did make me laugh afterwards, because she testified about how her current income was all from Diddy, but it was actually hindering her because she couldn't then focus on her own businesses. And she even goes as far to say, after upgrading from an apartment that was 1,400 square feet to 5,300 square feet, that Diddy held her back and that she could have been making more money without him. What utter nonsense. And they read a text message to Diddy saying, "You are truly a blessing in my life. I have never had a man take care of me like you do. You're the reason for my child's joy. It means the world to us. I love you, baby. You are my lover, my partner, my boyfriend." And they've even got a video of her expressing how good for each other that they were. So I'm just a bit like, another woman who claimed to be a victim of Diddy, and yet we're seeing so many examples that she was wholeheartedly complicit in this fucked up shit that he was into. It comes back to what I've been saying all along about Diddy, aside from the domestic violence, which he's absolutely guilty of. A lot of his behavior is him using people sexually to fucking fulfill his fucking crazy fucking fantasies, but they're more than happy to be used by him as long as they can use him in the process to fund their lifestyle. And that is exactly what has been going on time and time again with multiple different people here. Do I think he's guilty of domestic violence? 1,000,000%. He should see a jail cell for that. But do I think he's a sex trafficker? No, I don't. And unfortunately, a lot of people can't really say that, I think, because they're looking at these women's actions thinking, I would never do that. I would never want to do that. When there are many women out there who would do it and are doing it. And they're all over Instagram. Maybe they're not doing the exact thing that Diddy's doing. But there's these financial agreements in place. And he was taking full advantage of it. And so were they. To a point where she thanked him for being the reason for the joy on the face of her child, man. The same child she had with 50 Cent, allegedly. Fuck me. I think 50's case for full custody just got a whole lot stronger. And now we understand part of the reason why 50 hates Diddy so much. Anyway, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Obviously, as much as I'm saying he's not a sex trafficker, it is entirely possible they'll still get him on it because of all the technicalities, because of all the bribery, because of everything all coming together in one big case. But I'm talking at it from a personal point of view here, not a legal point of view, just to be absolutely clear, because people pull us up in the comments and say, well, he is going to get done for... I get that. He probably will get done for everything. But it doesn't mean I would find him guilty if I was in the jury. And speaking of which, apparently one of the jurors is potentially going to be removed because he's showing too much physical signs that he's really not buying the government's case here. And I think that that's another good sign for Diddy. Even if they're going to remove him, it proves that in the court where people are giving their testimonies, maybe it's not as believable as what people thought it was. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. As I've said, Diddy should go to jail for domestic violence, but I'm not sure about the rest of it so far. Let me know what I'm wrong about. I'll always read the comments. I do enjoy all of that, what yous have got to say about this case. But for now, hit the like button and subscribe to the True Geordie YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see yous on the next one.